I'm coming on to the genius slot. The genius slot was, in the old days, I used to do the whole meeting. I used to do the introduction, and I used to do the whole 3 hours. So it was a 4-hour session I used to do. And I started getting this thing about Erkan Ali show. Can you believe it? That's what I used to say back then. And but it was what it was. I'd say it was someone in the front of the room who was really passionate and being a stand for something that didn't exist, and explaining something that people didn't understand readily. And it took a huge amount of energy and effort. And I think every one of those talks in the early days was us making a case for what was possible. You know, Jill and I, we were pioneering something. We were testing and trying something. And then also I used to share really off the pieced ideas that would challenge people, that would make them rethink the way they view the world. Maybe get them go home and see something in their lives or in their performance. Or, if I'm really honest, maybe they'd look at society and go, this isn't great. We can do better. I can do better. And I'm part of a group that is committed to that. So for me, the genius slot wasn't about getting it right, doing the best job. It was about us sharing our most cutting edge ideas and thoughts. So maybe it's that book you're reading that nobody else knows the title of. And then suddenly you open your mouth and someone says, oh, Carol, I've read that book. That's really, and you go, oh, there's another nutter out there. It was really about us giving each other the gift of our genius. My genius is to stretch people. My genius, one of my ways I express my genius is to wake people up and then empower them. And that is not, in normal circles, that's not the sort of thing one would say, would they, Nick? You want to say that? I'll wake people up and then empower them. They go, who the hell are you to do that? So when I started to design the Discover Your Genius program, I had to climatise to being with my own genius. Because you kind of walk around. Let me ask you a question. Who here thinks they're a genius? Guests? No? Yeah? Feels weird, doesn't it? I can't say that. So when I first started talking about genius, the girls, i.e. my wife and 2 daughters, started to go, I'd boil an egg, and they'd go, wow, Dad, you're such a genius, you boiled an egg. And we climatised to it. And in this community, we're creating genius as something we can tap into right now. You've got a problem, you've got a challenge, you've got an opportunity coming at you, you really don't know how to handle it. What part of your genius is going to come to the fore? Is it your ability to solve problems, to bring clarity, to bring methodology and organising? Is it creativity? Is it going beyond the predictable? Where do you feel like that when you've given that out, when you've transmitted that or expressed it, that you're in flow? That it's like actually we couldn't shut you up. Just take a moment, have a think. Is there an answer there? Is there something like, oh, I can't possibly say that? Or do you know? Oh, I know exactly what my genius is. What would you say, Mitch?
My genius is letting other people express their genius.
So being a space for others to grow. Can we acknowledge that? I think that's fantastic. Exactly. So right now, your genius is allowing me to show up. Yeah. You're providing that listening, and you're providing that space that what I'm saying is going to land somewhere where it's going to count. How many people listen like that in your life? How often do you experience being listened to, like what you're saying is making a difference? Or do we say things and we feel like nobody's paying attention? Who feels like that? Sometimes. Most of the time. I'm saying this stuff and nobody's paying attention. Now, my genius slot has already started, by the way. Jill's going, come on, get on with it. No, this is it, Jill. This is it. Yeah, I know, I know. So I was thinking about, how do you produce results like that? Now, did you know that the person standing in the room right now in front of you is one of those people that produces results like that? Who knew that? You know that? You knew that? Did you know that?
I do now.
Did you know that before? That I produce results like that? Like if I put my mind to something, I produce results. Like no kidding. That's how great I am at this. Now what I'm learning is I'm actually spreading myself so thin, I'm having to produce results at a rapid rate, and then they just, like it's actually putting them in the right place. You know what I mean, don't you, Carol?
I do.
But I want to demonstrate how the ability to communicate ideas and put ideas in other people's minds and hearts is the access to almost anything you could want. Anything. You haven't got a spouse. Who hasn't got a spouse or a partner and would love one? Come on, hands up. Or another one, different one. Don't I look at you, Mitch. But you know what I mean? Like, you want a great partner in your life?
Yeah.
These skills are important, aren't they? Who would love to be in business with people that they'd love to be in business with? Yeah, like you really love being in business with them. Guess what? I have that. And we don't call this a business, to be fair. We call it a life mission. But I work and play with people I love playing and working with. And recently, and you know, sometimes people say things to you. Oh, you look lovely in that top. And you go, oh no, don't be silly. I listen to that stuff and I go, oh yeah, it is a nice top, isn't it? Thank you. I don't push it away. Recently, a friend of mine, who was a very close friend of mine up until 18, 19 years ago, we haven't seen each other for 19 years, we connected recently. And she said to me about 10 days ago, a couple of weeks ago, she said to me, I love watching you on Facebook, you just live your life, like your life is like your personality. You are just out there doing everything you love doing. I said, well, why would I do anything I wouldn't love doing? But when she said it, I kind of, you know when you get that tingle feeling, like, what part of your life right now looks like your dream life? Are there pockets? Are there little moments? Are they like, that's it, that's all you're getting? Or is it an ongoing experience? Or is it something you wouldn't even know what the hell I'm talking about? I'm saying to you, in this genius slot, I aim to shift your experience of your ability to impact and experience impacting the things in your life that are important. Be it relationship, be it your fitness, be it your money, be it your dreams that have not become dreams that you wouldn't dare to dream of dreams like that. If you break that down, it makes sense. How often I hear people selling out on what's possible. And I say, no, it's possible. And they talk to me like they think they know what I'm saying. And I promise you have no idea. Because not many people listen for what's really possible. What do we listen for? Well, we listen for circumstances, or reasons, or excuses, or that it's not possible, or not me, or not now. And I'm not talking about in theory, I'm talking about in reality. Because in theory, we all know we could probably do it on a good day with the wind in the right direction and the sun in the right place and the stars are aligned and I can go and make it happen. But what about if you could make it happen because you said so and you just go and do it? What would that look like? What would that look like, Simon?
Pretty excellent.
That's my life. That is my life. And I have to be responsible that that's how I'm living. Now you can say, okay, have you got as much money as you really want? Is everything fantastic with your marriage? Is your body the way you want it to be? Who here has got the body they really dreamt for? Whether yours or someone else's.
Nobody.
Nothing's ever good enough, is it, in that space, right?
Yeah.
So how are you going to be happy with the next thing that comes along if you're not happy and fulfilled with what you've got? And yet be a stand for something possible that isn't there right now. And do you know there is something about insanity? Insanity is described about talking about things that are not there. So if I started talking to that cat there, hello meow, how are you doing? Start talking, you're going to think I'm mad. Maybe I'm talking about something that you can't see that I can. Oh, it's mine. I was about to have a go at Jill.
Have a go at him. Just the cat.
It's the cat. Cat's calling. So, just let that sink in for a second. What part of my life or performance I'm not happy with? Guess who's in the way?
You are.
You are.
Oh, yeah.
We are.
Can you get that? Guess who's in the way? Come on.
Me.
Yeah. Always was. Always is, always will be. Now, is that good news or bad news?
It's good because you would change it.
It's awesome news. Because if it was the economy, or the Russians, or Donald Trump, or Theresa May, or bloody Hertford traffic, or whatever it is we blame our lives on not working, the past employer, the past wife, the past girlfriend, the past husband, who blaming their kids at the minute? Anyone blaming their kids? Got the wrong kids? No, the kids are all right. Okay, I'll stay off the kids. But if it's out there and it's not you, then what can you can't do anything about it, can you? What you can do something about right now, right here, is who?
Me.
The person sitting in your chair. But you don't behave that way. You don't act that way.
No.
You act that one day somewhere, something's going to happen, I don't know, the stars are going to align, everything's going to come together and I can go and ask that person for a date, or that person for a bit of business, or that person to get involved in your projects. Why don't you ask now? Right now. One thing, anybody who knows me that spends time with me is what do I do a lot of? Chris, Jill, Alan, what do I do a lot of? Sleep.
You do a lot of talking.